Okay. That's tough.
Welcome everyone to Sports Talk with Krish, Season 5, Episode 2. I'm your host, Krish Verma, and today I'm alongside East Carolina wide receiver Anthony Smith. Anthony, how are you doing today?
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yes, sir.
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Great, man. I'm so pumped up to have you on here today. We talk Pirate football and an amazing season you guys had winning that bowl game in Annapolis. Just an amazing year in general, and so proud of you guys.
Yeah, man. But I kind of like how I mentioned to you before, man. But without Pirate Nation, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish a lot of the things that we did this season. So the big shout out really goes to you guys for real.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button as Sports Talk with Krish is on the road to 2,000 subscribers. And let's go ahead and get straight to it. Anthony, this is now going to be your final season at East Carolina. But before we get that, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's get back to where it all begun. Where did your passion and love for football come from?
My passion and love for football, I would say, came from really my mom. To be honest, she's a super big sports head. So she loves sports, basketball, baseball, football. She loves to just watch sports. So she was always into sports, and she would always kind of be the one pushing me to really, I guess, achieve the bigger goal of going to college and playing football and making a way for myself. So I would definitely say that's kind of where it really all started at a young age.
I'm happy that it came from family, and your
Yeah.
mom must be a really big inspiration for you, sir.
Yes, sir. He is. She is very much.
Well, with that starting at a young age and you getting from middle school to high school, and then you elect to go to NC State for your first few seasons,
Yes.
there for a pretty long time, for majority of your collegiate career, and then choosing to go to East Carolina. So, with your first season wrapping up with the Pirates, how would you say it went? What did you learn from it, and what can you tell us about working with the East Carolina Pirates?
Um, I learned a lot this year. This really being my first year, me really getting big playing time minutes on the offensive side. I played a lot of special teams at NC State, but actually being able to be out there and produce for an offense, it was super, I guess, big for me because that's what I always wanted to do. I didn't really go to college to play special teams, although that is a big part. So that was super big for me getting the opportunity to showcase my talent on offense. It taught me a lot though. It taught me a lot of patience, like up and downs. Some games I had good games, some games I didn't have the best games, some games I had some drops, some games I didn't have any drops. So it was like kind of balancing that out and figuring out like I guess how to stay level headed and how to keep that medium right there in the middle. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I learned this season is kind of just having to stay down and stay patient because got to keep working because the results are going to show up at the end of the day.
And you mentioned being patient and kind of having to work towards your goal. It did not look the prettiest at the start of the season. Obviously, a lot of changes, especially with the coaching staff. So, another thing I wanted to ask you is I'm not sure how much you've had to handle that in your career, but what was that environment like going from one coach to the other? How did you guys learn from that experience and obviously led to success over the rest of the season? But what could you tell us about that experience?
Well, like you kind of said, like I've definitely never been through that experience before. I don't think very many people can say they've been through that experience. It's kind of like a unpredictable and kind of sudden experience. But the experience wasn't a bad experience because we were pushing and I guess preaching team so much. So like when the coaching change did happen and they decided to make the coaching change, everybody kind of in the locker room, it didn't really change anybody. I guess everybody still felt the same towards each other. I would honestly say it kind of made us closer. Kind of just like we don't have a coach. Like what are we gonna do? We don't. All we have, I guess, is the guys in the locker room. So because it's like everything else is up and down. You don't know what's gonna happen. So like all we really had was the guys in the locker room. So that was really the experience for me was just how that kind of just brought us together even more And I guess you kind of seen that when they did make the coaching change, that how much more together we were, that we just went out there and dominated the last half of the season. So
Would you have a word you may want to say about Coach Harrell coming into this sort of a situation and helping lead you guys to a Military Bowl victory?
Well, hats off to Coach Houston as well. He's a great coach. He's a great guy. Um, and I don't think that the coaching change was anything like against his personal like traits or anything like that. He's a great guy. But Coach Harrell, he's a very strong individual. He's a very intense individual. He's a very intentional individual. So like Coach Harrell, I don't know. I love Coach Harrell. Just the way that he kind of just brings us all together and kind of makes everything feel like a team and that we're doing this together and not by ourselves. And the coaches are a part of that as well. Um, I just think he does a great job, and he did a great job at sticking to who he really is through all of the crazy things that I know he probably had going on his like across his plate day in day out. So
And I love how much you respect and value both coaches from this season. Obviously, a lot more on the staff, but I know that change can be difficult for some
yeah,
teams going from one to the other, no matter what the circumstances could be. And the way that you said you guys got closer together
yeah,
in that locker room when that change happened, really just shows how much this game means to all of you in this
yeah,
locker room for you guys to go fight each and every week despite all the changes. I love to hear that, sir.
absolutely, man.
So, with that being said,
Mhm.
an amazing way to end the season, have a nice winning streak, go into postseason football and snatch a win in that Military Bowl, an
Yes,
amazing
sir.
football game to watch from the fan experience. Obviously, Pirate Nation came out and the Pirates themselves came out that day. A big win,
Yep,
offense and defense, special teams. Everyone had to make a play that game.
yep.
So, how was it like to win the Military Bowl? Not just it being how the season has gone and you're at ECU, but it's to be against your former team and a Pirate rival.
Well, that was my first ever bowl win, so that was a great experience in itself. Just winning a bowl game, I've never done that before. But getting to go against my old team, it was a crazy experience, especially when I seen all the bowl predictions of who we're gonna get. And I seen NC State was a possible matchup. I was like, oh, that'd be crazy if we got them. And the next thing I know, we got to play NC State. So it was a good, crazy experience though. A lot of emotions, like being able to go back and play against all the coaches that coached me and build me into the man that I was when I came to ECU, and getting to play against all my former friends and stuff like well, not former friends, but they're still my friends, but former teammates. Um, it was just a crazy experience. And then after the game, being able to see all of them and stuff like that, and they still be able to show me love, and me still be able to show them love, regardless of the win or loss. So it was a great experience for sure.
United once again. I love
Yes,
to hear
sir.
that. I'm happy. I'm happy that you guys not only were you able to get this win, but to also reunite with your former teammates. Obviously, some of your close friends that you made over the years at NC State as well. So that's
Yep.
great to hear,
Yep.
as always. So we talk about changes from all this time at NC State. Then you
Mhm.
have your first stint at ECU, and then you got one more upcoming this season. Um, but going back to that start at NC State, you said you're more on special teams.
Yep.
So how was it like not necessarily just moving up the depth chart, but just understanding college football as a whole and trying to grasp the play of the game and to elevate your game at this level? Because it's pretty different to high school.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
NFL is different, but you got college football right now. So how have you just elevated your game and how have you fought through adversity at the college level?
Well, I feel like a lot of my college experience has been adversity. Just not obviously things not going my way. Of what I envision for myself. Obviously, everybody who comes to college thinks of themselves going three and out. That's always the goal. But that didn't happen for me. So the whole time was kind of adversity for me, being on scout team and stuff, not getting the reps that I wanted. I even had, I guess, my position coach did change from my freshman year, so like having that and stuff. So, but I learned a lot being on a scout team, having to go to practice every day and take everything seriously, regardless of what the outcome is. I feel like that was the biggest thing that I learned, that I have to work, and you're not going to get the outcome unless you do work. So, kind of finding out I guess learning how to work. I guess that was the biggest thing that I learned in the whole process was learning how to work, learning how to keep fighting, learning how to fight through adversity. So I feel like that was the biggest thing for me.
So fighting through adversity also means you probably had to learn a lot of lessons as
Yep.
well, so, and some words that you of wisdom that you might have wanted to hear. So, do you have any favorite quotes from coaches, maybe your teammates that you still use to this day?
Oh, let me think. That's a good one. My coach Goebel, he's the special teams coordinator at NC State. He would always say this before the special teams meeting: don't let situation and circumstance dictate your productivity and your attitude. So kind of just that kind of sticks with me. Like, um, don't let don't let what's in the far dictate how you treat people, dictate how you work, dictate how you study the game, dictate how you go to practice, dictate how you watch film. So kind of just regardless of whatever's going on, whatever situation you're going through, whatever circumstance you're in, still holding true to who you are and who you want to be, regardless of all those things. So that's kind of that's one that would definitely stick with me.
And beautiful because that's really where it started, right? On special teams at NC State. That's where
Yep.
you really started to elevate your game and get to where you are right now as a starting receiver at East Carolina. So that's really cool that you kept a quote from that time period as
Yeah.
well as
Absolutely.
you rose through the game.
Hmm.
I like to hear that, sir. Um, so with obviously coaches, you learned that quote from your
Hmm.
special teams coordinator, and I mean players. You've met a lot of players. Obviously, college football, being at NC State for a couple of seasons, and then transferring to East Carolina.
Yeah.
So, how have you built relationships with players, especially because now with the transfer portal, it's a lot easier to go from one place to the other, and
Right.
some head to the NFL. So, how have you been able to make friends or just get to know your teammates
Yeah.
and just get to know each other and connect on the football field?
Well, shoot, I think it really all starts with the coaches. To be honest, like I guess how the coaches put us around each other, how the coaches allow us to interact with each other when we are around each other. So, hats off to Coach Rob. I feel like when I first got here, um, like he was just a big part of just making everybody feel so included in the receiver room. So like our receiver room last year, we were all so close. We would go and just like just get ice cream, go to Smoothie King, get smoothies, and just sit around. So I would say that's kind of how I kind of made friends over the years. I guess would just be um, bonding with them, going to lifts, doing hard things like workouts, and waking up at 5:30 in the morning and having to have energy and stuff like that, and go lift heavy weight and going to practice when it's raining, going to practice when you maybe not feel like it, just going through adversity together, I guess you would say.
That's awesome. Relationships is a big deal, especially in a sport like football, where I mean, every single person's got to be accountable for each other. Everyone needs to be in the correct mindset to go win the football game. So that's awesome to hear. And as a lot of us look at the schedule and we look forward to next season as well, I
Sure.
was wondering some of your expectations because not only did you guys get the big win against NC State to end this season, but now we just found out that Thursday, more than likely a primetime game to
Yep.
start next season, you guys are going to travel to Carter Finley. So you're going
Yep.
back to NC State to start the season. What's going to be a big season for East Carolina football. Everyone really expecting just another season from the Pirates. But what makes this group that you've learned from so far as you guys get further and further closer to the season? What have you guys learned so far that may be different about this team and your expectations for next season?
Well, I think the biggest thing would be Coach Mike, our new strength coach. He since he's came in, he's honed in on the details, like even the littlest things. So I guess I would say that's the biggest thing that I learned about our team is that um, that's how we're going to attack the off season. That's how we're going to attack the season is doing the little things right because they equal up to the big things. So that's kind of what I learned from our team so far in the last 2-3 weeks that we've been through workouts. But my expectations for next year, obviously we're trying to win the AAC. That's the goal. So we're obviously shooting big. and that's kind of why we're starting now. That's kind of been our mindset is got to win it in the off season. You can't just wait until fall camp to come, and then that's when you start working and putting in the work. You got to start putting in the work right now when it comes to details and doing the little things right on and off the field. You got to start that right now. So I got high expectations for us next year, and I think that um, we're so capable of doing it. If we just continue to just harp and just continue to go hard, now I think the results will definitely show themselves around next year.
So you also talked about your strength coach, right?
Yes,
That
sir.
just came in, Coach Mike,
Yep.
and your preparedness starting right now rather than putting all of it into fall camp. So, what would the day in the life of Anthony Smith look like? If you're football, if what you're doing around Greenville, maybe there's some places that you've learned around Greenville you get to hang out with, or where you guys bond. So, what
Yeah.
would the day in the life of Anthony Smith look like?
Well, I would wake up probably around 5:30, for workouts. Come downstairs. Probably, I would take my dog out. I would read my little Bible verse that I have. I read a Bible verse every morning and pray. Go upstairs, brush my teeth. I probably would sit on the couch and chill for a little bit, just kind of just relax in the morning, kind of get my mind right. Go to workouts, workout at like 7:15. After workouts, then I would probably have class from like 9:30 to like 1:45, like three classes in between. Then after those classes, I would have to go back to the facilities, and I would have to go see my academic advisor, check in, make sure I got all my work right, and I know what I got for the week. And then I go get treatment and go do some rehab and prehab, and then I come home and chill my dog until about 7:30. Go get in the shower, and then after that, I'm going to bed probably around 8:30.
Yeah, that's nice,
So
relaxed, chill
yeah,
day. It
so
doesn't have to be too
nice,
special.
yeah, it's a nice long day, but I like staying busy though. I feel like it definitely gives me something to do. I don't really like being bored and sitting around the crib all day, so it's nice to actually be doing stuff.
Right. No, I understand that. You don't want to just be tucked away at the
Yeah,
house. I get that. Yes, sir. Of course. So, reflecting on this past season as well, because it is truly a big season for not just this team, but you yourself. I just want to shout you out here. You had an incredible season for
thank
us.
you, man. Appreciate you.
So, with your 6 touchdowns, some big time plays down the field, because ECU football this season was known for those big time
Yeah,
plays.
sure.
What would you say were some of your favorite plays from this season?
Ooh, my favorite play that I always think about all the time, I can't lie, is the catch that I had against ODU. Like the play where I had went up and grabbed it. Uh,
Oh, yeah, yes, sir.
I think we were in like a 4-minute situation, and I think it was like third down maybe. I don't really remember, but yeah, I went up and grabbed it, and I thought I'd be thinking about that all the time. And then another one would probably be the one at Army. Even though we lost the game, I had a pretty tough catch in the fade ball. So those are probably my two most favorite plays from the season.
Yeah, the one against ODU was really nice. I could tell why you reflect on that one a lot. That's early in the season. You
Yeah,
guys, that was a great play. Obviously, Army game, I saw you made some big time plays as
yeah.
well. And really throughout the course of the season, you were very consistent each and every game, sir. It was awesome to watch you.
Thank you.
So one more thing I wanted to wrap up with for you, Anthony, as just a person, football player, whatever perspective you want to look at this as. Um, how do you want to be remembered as a football player? And also, how do you want Pirate Nation to remember you heading into your final season?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let me think. Uh, hmm. Well, I definitely on the field. I definitely want to be remembered as one of the best Pirate receivers to ever come through here. Um, and I don't know. I kind of really pride myself on being a hard worker and being very kind and genuine to people, no matter who you are, who comes across to me. I feel like I'm pretty kind and genuine, so I kind of want to be remembered. I guess by that, just being a kind person to everybody, no matter what. So
Beautifully said. Once again, thank you so much, Anthony Smith, for taking your time to join us today. Make sure you hit the subscribe button at Sports Talk with Krish on the road to 2,000 subscribers. And we're going to be rooting for you next season. I'm excited for this year for you guys and for your last ride as a Pirate.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, man.
All right. Thank you all for listening to Sports Talk with Krish, and we'll see you all in the next one.